stray. A simple world where love would bloom in every corner of the living room. Oh, the golden thread, it ties us tight through black and white into the light. A real love, it's always there. Classic moments beyond compare.
Welcome back to The Golden Thread, Lessons from Classic TV. I'm your host, Bob. There's a certain kind of ache that settles into a life when the world starts to move on without you. When the lighted windows you once looked through begin to go dark, one by one, and the echoes of your best years feel louder than the footsteps you're taking right now. Rod Serling understood that ache. He wrote about it with a gentleness that only someone who had lived through it could possess. And nowhere does he explore it more deeply than in the 1971 Night Gallery story, They're Tearing Down Tim Riley's Bar. At the heart of the story is Randy Lane, a once successful sales executive, middle-aged, worn to the bone. He's not a bad man. He's not even a failed man. He's just a man who has lived long enough to discover that somewhere along the way, he drifted from himself. He's tired. He's lonely. He's forgotten by the world he worked so hard for. His co-workers see him as past his prime. His boss sees him as replaceable. And the people who once gave his life meaning, his friends, his youth, his laughter, feel 1,000 miles away. The few things he cherished most are gone. And one of them, the little neighborhood bar called Tim Riley's, is about to be demolished. A bar that wasn't just a bar. It was a place where he and his buddies gathered after coming home from war, where he shared stories and songs with the people who understood him best. A place filled with warmth, camaraderie, and the feeling of belonging. It represented the one time in his life when everything made sense, when he felt alive. And now, the wrecking ball is coming. When Randy visits the bar for the last time, something tender and strange happens. He doesn't see an empty room. He sees people who aren't there anymore. He hears music that isn't playing. He watches moments from his youth unfold like they've been waiting for him to return. He sees his old friends exactly as they were, laughing, dancing, clinking glasses, greeting him like the night never ended. He sees the woman he once loved, beautiful and smiling, unchanged by time. He sees his younger self, full of promise. But this isn't a ghost story. It isn't madness or fantasy. It's memory. Memory so vivid, so deeply stitched into his heart, that for a moment he steps through the doorway of time and stands where he once stood as a young man. In this episode, Serling doesn't treat memory as an enemy. He treats it as a companion. A reminder that what we were still matters, that the joy we lived through counts for something, that love, even love from long ago, is never irrelevant. But he also shows its danger when we cling too tightly to the past. The present begins to collapse under us. Randy returns to work, and the modern world has no patience for what he's going through. His boss accuses him of slipping. A younger colleague sees him as obsolete. Whispers of, maybe it's time we replace him, start drifting through the office. No one sees the man, they only see the resume, except for one person. A quiet, kind secretary named Nora. A woman who has watched Randy struggle, who recognizes the pain he carries and who genuinely cares. As Randy spirals, overwhelmed by the loss of his past and the emptiness of his present, Nora steps forward in the most human way possible. She doesn't lecture him. She doesn't try to fix him. She doesn't dismiss the weight of what he's feeling. She simply sees him. And that's the turning point. Because being seen, truly seen, is often the first step back to ourselves. By the end of the story, Tim Riley's bar is gone, but something important remains. Randy realizes that what made that bar sacred wasn't the brick or the wood or the jukebox in the corner. It was the love he felt there, the friendships, the hope, the belief that life was meaningful. And while the building could fall, the threads of those moments were still inside him. They never left. But he couldn't move forward until he let the memory be just that, a memory, instead of the only place he felt alive. This is where Nora becomes essential. She reminds him gently, without judgment, you still matter. You still have life ahead of you. You still have someone who cares. And with that, his world shifts. Not magically, not instantly, but enough that he steps out of the ruins of his past and into the possibility of something new. This episode isn't about nostalgia. It's about compassion. It's about how easy it is to disappear inside your own life when the world stops reflecting your worth back to you. It's about the loneliness of aging, the grief of lost time, the human need to be remembered, and the healing that happens when one person, just one, reaches out a hand and says, I see you. You belong. You still have a place here. Randy didn't need the bar. He needed connection. He needed gentleness. He needed someone to look into the shadows inside of him and call him back toward the light. That is the golden thread. The truth that love does not erase the past, but it keeps us from being trapped in it. It restores our ability to live again. They're Tearing Down Tim Riley's Bar is a story about a man who thought the best parts of his life were gone, only to discover that the best part, the capacity to love and be loved, was still inside him, waiting for someone to awaken it. And if there's someone in your life who's fading into the background, someone who feels forgotten or invisible, you might be the person who lifts them back into the present. Because sometimes the smallest kindness doesn't just save a day. Guys, it saves a life. Take care and thank you for listening. And see you next Monday. Bye-bye.
Walking down the lanes of yesterday, where laughter echoes and hearts don't stray.